Coming up on Mountain News this morning, after his home was damaged in the winter storms last month, students of one Eastern Kentucky teacher are doing what they can to help. And one way to show love this Valentine's could simply be by checking in on a loved one.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News this morning.
Well, today is that day where you wear red and pink. It's Valentine's Day, February 14th, and it is 6:30 on this Friday morning. That means it's time to check on in with meteorologist Megan Dusmal for a look at the forecast this morning. Megan, we've been talking about that break from the rain, which I know a lot of folks are probably happy about, but we also need to start preparing for this weekend.
Yes, this weekend has tons of rain in the forecast. We had that nice little break starting yesterday going into today. And for today, all we have to worry about is just the cold weather and also preparing ourselves for this weekend. So as we look at those current temperatures on the colder side of things, mostly looking at the 20s and teens, here are those high temperatures of the day, looking in the 40s. Overall, not too bad. 50 degrees for Harlan and Millsboro. And we are looking dry on live pinpoint Doppler radar. As I mentioned, we will be nice and dry all day long, but we do have those rain chances picking up as we're heading into the overnight hours and into your Saturday. And we'll see the rain chances all Saturday long and for most of your Sunday morning. Starting to see that transition into a snow chance as you're heading into the afternoon. Amelia.
All right, thank you, Megan. Well, a woman is in the hospital with serious burns while Kentucky State Police investigate a home explosion. It happened in Laurel County Wednesday afternoon. Now, Samantha Valentino is asking an expert what you can do to prevent a similar situation.
This afternoon, things are quiet on Glenview Road, but the East Bernstadt fire chief says a neighbor described hearing a loud noise Wednesday when there was an explosion at this home. It was around 3:16 when fire crews arrived. They say the home was fully engulfed in flames after an explosion. Kentucky State Police say the homeowner, Shirley Wynn, was found with severe burns to approximately 80% of her body. She received immediate treatment before being taken to the hospital and transferred to a specialized burn treatment facility in Louisville.
One day after this explosion, at least 8 propane tanks sit in this home's lawn. Kentucky State Police say early findings indicate that propane used for a floor space heater was likely the cause of this explosion and the fire.
First and foremost, if you're going to be using some type of a heater indoors, you need to make sure that that heater is approved for indoor use.
Glenn Burge is the senior energy tech at Southern States in London.
The tank top heaters, they are approved for indoor use, but they're not approved for in-home use. So you want to read that, and it will have their warning labels and things on the box.
A leaking propane tank could cause an explosion or fire. So Burge says it's important to know the warning signs or smells of a leak.
If you smell a smell like rotten eggs or garbage or something of that nature, that alerts you to get away from that.
Burge says if you smell it, you should turn the heater off and go to the source, your propane tank, and make sure that it's turned off to prevent leaking. You should report the leak to your propane retailer or your local fire department and not re-enter your home until the system is checked and an expert tells you it's safe. In Laurel County, Samantha Valentino, WKYT.
Kentucky State Police are still investigating to determine an official cause of the explosion and the fire. The crews think propane used for a floor space heater caused the explosion. A car crash in Knox County put 3 people in the hospital yesterday morning. Fire crews in Artemis say the car that you see on your screen flipped on Kentucky 930 and almost landed in the Cumberland River. 2 kids and an adult were taken to the hospital. Their conditions are not known. In Claiborne County, Tennessee, 2 people were arrested after police executed a search warrant. Wednesday, police went to a home in Tazewell where they found a fugitive from Ohio hiding. Eddie Lawson was wanted for an indictment of aggravated possession of drugs. Kendall England was also wanted on several charges. During a search of the home, police found 2 handguns and more than $6,000, believed to be the profit of the illegal sale of narcotics. An online fundraiser which started at Johnson Central High School is asking the community to rally around an educator in need. Students tell WYMT's Buddy Forbes it's all about getting their history teacher back home.
There's where I was sitting right there. So it's within 3 feet.
And look how sharp it is.
Yeah, and it's like a dagger.
When the January storms hit Johnson County, high school history teacher Rex Collins was uprooted after 2 trees fell through his home.
Just all sorts of
worries and thoughts go through your head about how you're going to deal with this. So I've never had anything like that happen to me before, which, you know, I'm lucky though, blessed by God that I'm alive, and that's the way I've tried to look at it.
Collins, who is currently staying in a hotel, says the damage, holes in his roof, and foundational issues are estimated to cost at least $40,000,
My goodness.
Left of it.
which is a hard hit to the educator.
Sometimes God sends angels, and in this case, 3 very wonderful students.
Monday, 3 of his students came together with an idea to crowdfund for Collins.
It was just put on our hearts to do this for him because of how much he gives to us. So this was kind of our way to give back to him.
Saying they wanted to provide a little hope to a man who is always able to make them feel at home.
My classroom.
Kids come from all different backgrounds, and they can walk into Mr. Collins' class and feel special and feel appreciated.
So they created an online fundraiser, which within a few days has raised more than $5,000 to help offset the cost of the repairs.
I didn't know what to think. I mean, me and my mom sat together and watched it. We almost broke down crying. Like, we didn't know this community could do something like this.
And though he says he was hesitant to take help from others, Collins says he is overwhelmed by the kindness of his kids.
I don't feel like I deserve it, but their love and their caring and their compassion and their concern is, I'm just blessed.
In Johnson County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Collins says he is blessed with a campus full of caring students and a community that always comes together in times of need. The Estill County Animal Shelter is asking for your help. The shelter says they took in more than a dozen dogs with mange and other health problems. They're asking for donations like medicated shampoo. The shelter is located on Ginter Lane in Ravenna. You can find their hours and other donation needs on the shelter's website. Well, today is Valentine's Day and love is in the air. But officials say every year thousands of people fall victim to scams while looking for love. In 2023, the Federal Trade Commission says victims of the scams lost nearly $1 billion. Scammers often take advantage of their victims by building a connection with them over time that can often tail several weeks, months, or longer. As the relationship develops, the scammer eventually asks for money.
People, they're looking for love. They're looking for a connection. So that's a target-rich environment for the perpetrator. If we can catch it soon enough, we may be able to get the money back, but a lot of times it takes so long for people to report this that we can never get the money back for somebody.
If you become suspicious of the person you're talking to isn't real, do a reverse image search of their pictures. And don't be afraid or embarrassed to come forward if you think you've fallen victim. Kentucky State Police say they'll be patrolling roads extra this Valentine's Day weekend. For the next 3 days, they'll be focusing on seatbelt usage, speeding, and DUI enforcement along I-75. It's part of a larger state trooper project for safer roads. While showing love through actions this Valentine's Day, experts say is a key component to help people managing their mental health. In Kentucky, suicide represents the second leading cause of death among people 10 to 34 years old. Doctors say in most cases, people struggling are often doing so in silence. One doctor says a conversation starter can help a child or a loved one who is facing dark times.
Having that open dialogue and just saying to someone, hey, I noticed that you might be struggling. You want to talk about what's going on? It seems like you might have had a rough day. How about we talk about it? Opens that door to have a conversation, a real conversation about emotions, and the ability for parents to then validate those emotions rather than trying to solve them or get rid of them.
UK Healthcare has a website to help you or a loved one navigate mental health challenges. If you look at the bottom of your screen right now, you can see that website. The Pike County Library is hosting an event this weekend for folks wanting to learn more about ham or amateur radios. Organizers of the event say there will be a testing session, allowing attendees to test for 3 different types of licenses. The event is from 3:30 until 5:30 on Saturday evening. The address is 126 Lee Avenue in Pikeville.
If you are heading out the door, here's what you need to know. We have low humidity this morning, meaning not much in terms of fog today. looking nice and clear in terms of visibility, and in terms of rainfall, we have none. It's also nice and clear on live pinpoint Doppler radar, just watching clouds move in and out of our area this morning. A look at those temperatures will tell you, though, that you need to set out a couple of extra minutes this morning to warm up your car before you head out, because we are looking in the 20s, with some places seeing the teens. 16 degrees in Irvin, 19 in Hazard. As we're going through the next couple hours, if you're heading off to the bus stop or school, here's what you need to know. 23 degrees on the way to school, but by the time you're heading home, we're looking just a little bit warmer in the low 40s with partly cloudy to mostly cloudy skies. Amelia.
Thanks, Megan, and thank you for joining us this morning. The time is now 6:40. Still to come on Mountain News this morning, a London native impressed the judges in a blind audition on this season of The Voice.